And so again, good morning, everyone, and welcome. A great sage once said, "Wherever you go, there you are. Your Amazon shipment, however, is another story." Such was the case 2 weeks ago as I was preparing for my trip to Colorado. Tom and Tina, two of our Sangha members, if you guys are watching, hi Tom, hi Tina, have been inviting me out the past few months to go kayaking with them up in Smithville Lake. And I've enjoyed it so much that I decided I would purchase an inflatable kayak from Amazon. And it was due to arrive 2 weeks ago Friday. And so I scheduled a trip with a friend to try out the new kayak. A trip to Colorado. I even scheduled a rental car to save wear and tear on our older vehicles. And so in the following week, as I made plans and watched kayaking tutorials, prepared my camping gear, fantasized about Colorado and the rivers and the trees, it began to turn into something more. It began to take the place of the present moment. It became a mirage in the desert. Right over there, that's where I'll be happy. Right over there, it's just within reach. So I started placing a lot and cultivating a lot of energy around this and began grasping and clinging. However, I didn't know that at the time. It was building up slowly. The awakened sages call a person wise when all of their undertakings are free from anxiety about results. This is from Krishna in the Bhagavad Gita. Jesus, too, said that the kingdom of heaven is here and now. Of course, the problem is we often are not here and now. We are in the future. We are in the past. We are in our memories. We are in our fantasies. Why? Well, because we are attached to our story. We are attached to our personal narrative. We play it inside our head constantly. As we cook, we daydream. As we drive, we fantasize. As we work, we consider that better job that is out there just waiting for us. It even happens when we eat. We're not fully present with the bite that we're chewing on. We're too busy shoveling up the next forkful. And so I too had become enmeshed in my story of what the trip to Colorado means. Now, the present moment was actually trying to help. You see, the universe is madly in love with us and is inviting us to wake up each and every moment. And it's there helping us, giving us signs, sending us signals, letting us know, in fact, playing with us. However, when we get attached to an idea, when we get attached to an outcome, we can no longer hear the soft voice of presence whispering to us. Many of you are familiar with the story of the guy who's trapped in a raging flood and he gets stuck on the roof of a house, and with the water rising rapidly, a canoe comes along and they holler for him to jump in. He says, "No thanks, God will save me." And then along comes a boat, a motorboat, and they're telling him, "Quick, jump in." He's like, "No worries, God will save me." And then along comes a helicopter and drops down a rope, and he waves them off, saying, no, 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 God will save me. Of course, the flood rises and he drowns. And then when he gets into heaven, he starts complaining, and God's like, I sent you a canoe, a boat, and a helicopter. What do you want? That guy was me. So the first thing that happened, the first canoe, if you will, was that my friend that I had scheduled this trip with got into a scooter accident a few days before we were supposed to leave, and he bruised a couple ribs. Nothing very serious, but still very painful and unpleasant. That right there should have been the awakening sign. But no, 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 I'm going kayaking in Colorado. Then the shipment from Amazon was delayed, and I received an email that said it was rescheduled for Monday, the Monday after the day we needed to leave because of the rentals and all those types of things. This one really torqued my jaw because this was kind of the reason for the whole trip. But ever attached, determined, and clinging like a bulldog to a bone, I'm going to Colorado if I have to rent a kayak when I'm there. Next. How much time do you guys have? Next, I totally messed up the business hours of the rental car company. It turns out that they are open 7 to 6 p.m. every day of the week, except the day that I showed up. They actually closed 4 hours. They closed 4 hours earlier. And the SUV that we needed was nowhere to be found, except for one that was $150 more. But no, no, no. I'm going kayaking in Colorado if I have to walk. I think you guys get the point. My unconsciousness, my clinging, my attachment kept me from being aware of the energetic dissonance, kept me unaware of what the universe was tapping me on the shoulder and trying to tell me. My attachment to an outcome had become so solidified that I was no longer present and no longer aware. So obviously this is not really about what I did on my summer vacation or about getting a kayak or getting to Colorado. There is a much deeper teaching beyond books and videos, beyond gurus and malas and mantras. Experience is our teacher. When we are out of sync with the universe by attaching to an idea or an outcome, we can no longer tune in to our own intuition. The body will never lie to you, and the head always will. When we are attached to an idea or an outcome, we can no longer tune in to the body itself, and we can no longer listen to our hearts. When the mind-body organism creates separation within itself, it projects separation outside. That's when we create heaven and hell, good and bad, right and wrong, black and white, gay, straight, Republican, Democrat. The Sufi poet Hafiz reminds us, your separation from truth, from love, is the hardest work in this world. That is why so often we feel fatigued, tired, beat. In our Buddhist practice, there is samavayama. wise effort or effortless efforting. You see, if there is dissonance in any activity or experience, or things start getting complex, difficult, if there is struggling and striving going on, then we have become out of harmony with what is. And it's not that the universe is hating on us. In fact, it's the complete opposite. It's that we're not listening to the universe. We can no longer hear it. And that's how attachment to a thought, to an idea, to an outcome creates our experience, creates an experience that is for us. Life is not happening to us. Life is happening for us. It was one of the apostles that said, the kingdom of heaven is laid out before us, but mankind cannot see it. This is unconsciousness. This is being asleep. This is not being aware of the experience that is opening up right here and right now, filled with teachings, filled with lessons, empty, open, boundless, limitless. Instead, we are over there. We're back there. We are setting up what should be against what is. And that's delusion. Make no mistake now that we can be as attached to the difficulties of our life just as easily as we can be attached to the pleasures of life. We can become incredibly attached to, why don't people drive more safely? Why do they play their stereo so loud? Why doesn't government help the homeless? Why don't companies take better care of their employees? Why don't countries do more for the environment? Why doesn't he wear a mask? Why doesn't she slow down? When we cultivate these thoughts and this energy, we can no longer see the forest through the trees. We will be caught up in the drama and can no longer respond to the suffering of the world. And ultimately, that is what opens our hearts, is to respond to the suffering of the world, to be present, to help those in need. But we can't do that when we are needy ourselves, needing things to be different than the way they are. So, how do we experience without attaching to it? Here are 5 little suggestions. First is radical acceptance. Accept the moment as it is. This is what's happening. And stop spending all of your time in delusion about what should be happening. Next, learn to believe that now is enough. We're always trying to manipulate the world to make it better because there is an attachment to a belief that now is not enough. There needs to be something more, some little thing more. Next, call yourself out. This is the deep practice of self-inquiry. Become aware of what the thoughts are. Question them. Robert Brummett's talk a week or so ago. You can boil all of Buddhism down to this phrase, not necessarily so. That includes our beliefs, our thoughts, our attachments. So with a playful curiosity, question what it is that you are believing. What is it you are attached to? Number 4, define yourself in fluid terms. We are not a thing. We are a process, constantly changing, growing, learning. Fall in love with that. I could very easily have been absolutely disgusted with all these things that were happening regarding the trip and been looking for blame and judgment. But I'm open to the changes now. And in seeing all those things, not as the universe being angry with me, hating on me. No, it was the other way around. I wasn't aware of the beautiful signs the universe was saying, maybe right now is not the best time to go. And number 5, gratitude. Gratitude for this moment. Gratitude for the ability to look and see what was really going on instead of overlaying my own thoughts, my own judgments, being aware of what was really happening, being aware of reality, not my thoughts about reality. Becoming aware of what we're cultivating. And when you become aware of what you're cultivating in the moment, have gratitude for that awareness, because violence teaches only violence. Stress teaches only stress. Worry teaches only worry, and fear teaches only fear. When we clean up our mental environment, we will clean up our physical environment much more quickly. That's just how it works. If you can do that genuinely, without violence in your heart and without anger towards other people, then you begin to shine and to glow. Your light becomes brighter. When you question your thoughts and beliefs with a playful curiosity, that's when the universe begins to respond to you. And as you cultivate stillness and non-judging, there is harmony with all things. I want to close with a line from the Tao Te Ching. The world is sacred. It cannot be improved. If you tamper with it, you'll ruin it. If you treat it like an object, you will lose it. And as for my trip, well, we went on to have several other near-death experiences, but the kayak arrived. And so, peace, blessings, and keep on paddling.